Hello and welcome back to our Houston Texans franchise in Madden 2003. Today we've got the off season after a wild ride in Season 3. You just watched us win the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. Sammy Parker had himself a great game with an NFL record touchdown, punt return. It was amazing. If you haven't watched it, go back and check it out. But like always, we are going to import our draft class from our Bulldogs Dynasty. Let's take a look at the retirements. See Darren Woodson, Richie Anderson, Antoine Smith, Victor Green, Junior Seau, another great player up there. But Victor Green, he had a couple great seasons for us, went to Detroit, had a Pro Bowl season with them, and decided to hang up the cleats. Troy Vincent, he is done. John Carney, Jerome Bettis has called it a career. At age 33, he missed 1,000 yards this season by 8 yards. Finished his career with 14,264 yards and 79 rushing touchdowns. Mo Lewis retires. Chad Brown, Charlie Garner, another old running back. Not too many quarterbacks this year. Trent Green, Gus Farrar, Rob Johnson, Todd Collins, and Eric Zaire. And we'll take a look at the youngest retiree. It was Walt Harris at 30 years old with that nice 52 overall. And on to free agency, we go to Chris Hansen, punter, one of the best free agency options out there this year, 91 overall. We offered him 2 years, $1.5 million. And Chris Hansen does accept. We have ourselves a punter, folks. Max DePace will stop punting the ball now, thank God. He will just remain on the kicking duties. We also offer one other player, and it is Alex Brown, defensive end. We give him a 1-year deal for $1.5 million, trying to get some help on the defensive line. And on to the draft. Round 1, we pick Antrell Roll. The number 1 pick in the draft is Kellen Winslow Jr. out of the U, 79 overall tight end by the San Francisco 49ers. Kelly Washington, 83 overall. Fred Gibson, 80 overall. Ben Roethlisberger goes number 4 to the Buffalo Bills with a 77 overall. Oakland Raiders select Willis McGahee out of the U, 80 overall. Kyler Hall, 74 overall for the Seattle Seahawks, free safety. And New Orleans, I'm not sure what they're doing here. They go kicker at pick number 7, Matt Prater. It's a great kicker, but you do not need to get him at pick number 7. Tommy Harris goes to the Panthers. Joe Dreesen goes to the Chiefs. Michael Clayton goes to the Detroit Lions. We wanted to go ahead and get a receiver in this draft, but all of the good ones that we scouted were selected before we had a pick. So it didn't happen for us this year. But Maurice Clarett goes to Denver. Cedric Benson gets selected by the Dallas Cowboys, 80 overall. He will be taking over for Emmitt Smith. Vince Wilfork goes to the Miami Dolphins. Terrence Murphy to Cincinnati. Keith Allen, Pittsburgh. Madison Hedgecock goes to Jacksonville. They go fullback in round 1. John Square, another Miami Hurricane player. He goes to Arizona. Simon Frazier, defensive end to Chicago. Darren Sproles selected by the Washington Redskins. Keith Joseph, another fullback, this time to the Jets. Jason Shivers goes to the Vikings. Vince Young is selected by the Atlanta Falcons with a 72 overall. He will back up Mike Vick. Carlos Rogers to the Colts. They have really loaded up on the defensive side so far in this franchise. Cleveland whiffs on a quarterback. They select Charlie Fry, just as they did in real life, and he has a 66 overall. Marcus Houston goes to the Chargers. Sean Ryan, tight end, 66 overall. Tampa Bay misses on that pick. Roscoe Crosby to Green Bay. Marion Barber III to New England. Aaron Halterman to St. Louis, 59 overall tight end. Oh my, what a whiff. Chris Gamble to Baltimore. DJ Shockley to Philly. And Antrell Roll with a 73 overall from the U. And they have Chris Gamble at wide receiver here for Baltimore. Round 2, we select Randy Starks. Trying to get a defensive tackle. We need someone to replace Sam Adams because he is getting up there in age. He's just not getting it done anymore. And San Francisco goes Teo Johnson, 6'7" wide receiver out of Stanford, 75 overall. Tennessee gets Logan Mankins. The Giants get Matthias Kiwanuka. Kyle Kobia, fullback from the U, goes to the Buffalo Bills. Oakland goes kicker, so they must have lost Sebastian Janikowski in free agency. Brandon Jones to Seattle. And the Saints miss on another pick. They select Kyle Orton, and he has a 68 overall. Cadillac Williams goes to the Carolina Panthers. Kansas City goes punter. In round 2, they pick Cody Ridgway. We scouted him, but we did not need him. We got Chris Hansen. Sonoris Moss goes to Detroit. Carlton Neal, 75 overall defensive end, goes to Denver. Aaron Landry, fullback, goes to Dallas. Cincinnati misses. Miami misses. Jason Campbell goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 71 overall rookie out of Auburn. Jacksonville goes punter. Vinny Burns. Derek Hamilton goes to Arizona, 73 overall wide receiver. Jonathan Jackson. Derek Anderson, quarterback, to the Washington Redskins. Oscar Lua. DeVar Darling to Minnesota. Anthony Davis, 74 overall halfback, to the Atlanta Falcons. PK Sam from FSU goes to Indianapolis. They get a wide receiver. Austin Sendlin goes to Cleveland, 70 overall defensive end. Not a bad pick there. Santiago Gramatica goes to San Diego, 72 overall kicker. Roscoe Parrish to Tampa. Scott Vossmeyer to Green Bay, 60 overall quarterback. Wow. Bo Cleveland, Wes Sims, Barrett Rude, DJ Coot, and Randy Starks has a 67 overall. So not a terrible pick in the second round. I wish it was better, but we do need a defensive tackle, so we fill the position of need. Round 3, we go defensive end, Kenichi Udeze. We select him. Let's see, Braylon Edwards, San Francisco. They are just loading up. They get Kellen Winslow Jr., they get Teo Johnson, and now Braylon Edwards, all over 70 overall. Tennessee gets 72 overall. Bryant McFadden at corner. Ronnie Brown goes to the New York Giants. Corey Ross to Buffalo. Aries Curry to Oakland. Seattle misses on a quarterback. They're still looking for their franchise quarterback. Right now they got Cliff Kingsbury at quarterback, and he is really just not getting it done. Ray Bivens from Mississippi State gets selected by the Detroit Lions. 65 overall wide receiver, and he was a blast to play with in that dynasty. Bunch of receivers selected in this round. Miami gets a 71 overall halfback in round 3. Cincinnati gets Sean Andrews at tackle. David Pollock goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Arizona whiffs on a quarterback. Josh Cribbs goes to Minnesota as a quarterback. He played quarterback at Kent State, the Golden Flashes. Igor Olshansky goes to Indianapolis, so they get a defensive tackle with a 70 overall in the 3rd round. Great pick. James Buchanan, 72 overall halfback to Cleveland. That's another good pick. Jarius Norwood, another Mississippi State Bulldog. He goes to Tampa Bay, 69 overall halfback. And here's our selection, Kenichi Udeze, 65 overall. Not terrible, not great. And some of these picks that we made were definitely underwhelming, including this pick. But let's take a look at all the other draft picks in round 4. San Francisco gets a 67 overall center, Dan Coons. My goodness. The Niners are just loading up. They're looking like they're getting some great prospects right now. Seattle gets 67 overall outside linebacker Chad Sebers here in round 4. That is the highest overall so far. And Larry Anderson, defensive end for the Carolina Panthers, also has a 67, as does Andre Maddox for the Detroit Lions at strong safety. Darren Williams goes to the Denver Broncos. There's a 68 overall right there. J.R. Lemon of the Pittsburgh Steelers at halfback. Jeff Bax, another halfback, to the New York Jets. Now, all of the players that we scouted were pretty much selected before we ever had a shot at them. Montrell Rowe was the only player that we selected, and Randy Starks, that we actually scouted. New England misses on a quarterback, 62 overall. Alex Barron, tackle to the Baltimore Ravens. And we miss on this pick. Tamarcus Tyson, he's a guard. He's a very strong player. I'm hoping that he just improves a lot. Like, very quickly would be great. San Francisco gets a 64 overall quarterback, Jermaine Gonzalez. That is not a bad pick in round 5. Matt Mock, quarterback from LSU. We saw him plenty of times in our Bulldogs dynasty, 61 overall. Carolina goes middle linebacker with Matt Roth, 60 overall. Kendall Gibson, another fullback off the board, 66 overall for the Detroit Lions. Cincinnati gets a pretty decent defensive end, Elliott Harris, 65 overall here in round 5. Not seeing any more Mississippi State Bulldogs on this board at all. Great, Gayron Allen, 60 overall outside linebacker. Zach Mills, another quarterback for Green Bay. I believe that's their second they've selected. But we get Darren Stevens, cornerback, 62 overall. We definitely need corner help. Jamie Henderson's our best corner, and we saw him get beat a lot last season. Round 6. San Francisco gets a 63 overall guard. So they went receivers, tight end, offensive line, just loading up the offense. They have not selected a defensive player at all yet. Miami gets 64 overall defensive end, Marquise Hill. A lot of really low overall players here in round 6. Not going to see too many 60s anymore. And Lynn Magruder, 62 overall defensive tackle. He was just the best available player on the board. And we also go ahead and select Kerry Rhodes, which you can see right here is also the best player available left on the board. He is a free safety. We don't really need one, but there's really nothing else that we could have selected here that would have helped us out at all. Kerry Rhodes can come in and play special teams immediately. And we saw Mo Sykes get a lot of tackles last season on kickoff and punt coverage. And we've only seen 2 60-plus overall players selected here in round 7. Kerry Rhodes is Mr. Irrelevant this season. I'm pretty excited to see what his overall is going to be. Oh, there's another 60 overall tight end, Bo Hartfield for the San Diego Chargers. New England gets a fullback with a 66 overall. 61 overall strong safety there. Lonnie Hopkins, 65 overall free safety. And Kerry Rhodes is a 67 overall free safety in round 7, the final pick in the NFL draft. So the last 3 selections were all safeties. Those players all fell drastically in the draft. They were projected second, third rounders. And that was just a huge draft pick right there. So we get an offensive lineman in free agency. After the draft, we got TJ Hushmanzada at wide receiver, Kirk Morrison, Stanford route. He has ridiculous speed. I believe it's 95. We also get Chris Carr, a very fast, strong safety. He will compete in the preseason. And here we see Rodney Harrison on the trading block. Let's see who we're going to get here. Look at that, Randy Moss, 99 overall wide receiver. And we are going to go ahead and try to select him and trade for him. We need a number 1 wide receiver. We don't have one. So we offer up Quentin Griffin, Rodney Harrison, and a round 1 pick. And Minnesota elects to accept this trade. So that we have a blockbuster trade after free agency in the NFL draft. And Randy Moss is now on the Houston Texans. He will be catching passes from Carson Palmer, 86 overall quarterback. Let me know in the comments section below what you guys think of that trade. That's really going to shake up the league. Minnesota no longer has a number 1 wide receiver. We have ours, and we will look to repeat as Super Bowl champions. I'm going to let you guys take a look at me setting up the depth chart, and I definitely look forward to seeing your comments below. I will see you guys next week with Season 4, Week 1, or possibly some preseason highlights. Also, let me know in the comment section below if you want to see some preseason highlights before we start Season 4 of our franchise. But Saturday will be Mississippi State, Season 5, Game 1 against the Miami Hurricanes. Wednesday, we got South Dakota State taking on South Dakota. Thursday is Kennesaw State taking on Mercer. And I will see you guys with those ones during the week. But until then, take it easy, guys.